Yeah, I mean, at this point, guys, most of you have probably heard of the CNN report, the investigation where they uncovered that quote unquote rape academy online that we know where men were posting like hints, tricks, uploads on how to drug and rape their significant others. So it was generally people like not necessarily spouses, but partners. Yeah. And it was 62 million in 1 month. But here's the thing, guys. Last month, it was 80 million. Okay. So we have a problem. Okay. And when I say we, this isn't, I'm not going to have people saying like I'm going off on the white male thing. But the reality is the majority of those millions of men were in this country in white. That's just where we're at. Okay. So we've talked about SA before on this show. We have to be careful like what we say. And I've been very clear because I do not know an adult woman that has not been violated in one way or another. And it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum from obnoxious comments at a workplace to somebody actually putting hands on you to the Bill Cosby, like this sort of drug and rape thing, right? Like it's a spectrum. But I do not know an adult woman in my life that has not been violated. Okay. So what is that telling us? And before anybody puts anything resembling not all men, I am like on fire. Okay. Do not tell me not all men. Okay. That's like saying all lives matter. Don't tell me not all men. Here's the reality. I know lots of good men. I know lots of good men. Peter's a good man. I know lots of good men that would never hurt women. And so that's not the point. So we don't need you to tell us that. Right. And this is for me going to be very much more focused, not on the rapey segment. Seriously, my focus is going to be on the nice guys that are the non-rapey people like Peter, right? Like this is what I'm talking about tonight. But I want to start with an Instagram clip of, his name is James Coppola, I believe. He's adorable. Yes. I follow him on Instagram, and he goes after bullies. He's very intolerable of bullying behavior, especially like against fat people. And that's his thing. Right. So anyway, he said what I like, the preface of what I'm going to get into, but yeah. So let's play this. This is James Coppola.
There seems to be a lot of men who truly don't understand when women say it's all men. So in a non-combative way, I'm going to try my best to understand your perspective and share one that I think that you should consider. You believe that men are under attack. You believe that there are good men. You believe that women should care about men's mental health. And they should not be thrown in the same box with the sick fucks and the rapists and everything like that. Men have a hard enough time as it is. Why create this stigma on top of it? Hey, wanting to be an advocate for men's mental health is real. Caring about other men is real. I promise you that the women who say all men are men in their lives, who they cherish and love and trust. And I can just about guarantee you that those men specifically, the ones that the women do cherish, love, and trust, they do not get offended when women say all men. Now, why do you think that is?
That's a key point. So it's not that women don't know that there are good, loving men. We know that. At least I think most women do know that. I do. So that's not it. Okay, so this is why this is a very good point.
The other thing that I think needs to be pointed out here, which is something we talked about earlier, this is clearly an alpha type male. He's in exceptionally strong shape. He probably is very respectful of women and always has been. And it's easier for him to talk about this because he does not struggle in any capacity when it comes to the opposite sex. However, we do have a huge problem in this country, which I think has been brewing for quite a few years now, when it comes to this sort of incel population that has grown exponentially. And that is a result of the terminal online behavior that our society has become, you could say, victim to some degree. But there is no question that this is a huge problem. It's a huge problem. And when you basically become completely inept when it comes to interpersonal communication, it is almost a natural rise in this type of behavior to hold rage and anger towards the opposite sex. Just is.
Yeah. So, and for anybody saying that he looks rapey, you're just being silly, okay? Well, look, you never know what people do behind closed doors. That's true. I have been following this man. I know his story. He makes people feel better about themselves, and he boosts people up, and he always punches up, and he defends the underdog. So I'm with that.
Have you spent a day in their shoes? In their entire lives, you don't think that they encountered a sick fuck. And if you don't believe that they did, why? Because you didn't see it? You don't believe that women are catcalled all the time? When a woman is telling a story about how she was assaulted, you want more facts, like what was she wearing, what was she doing? Do you understand how harmful that is? Do you realize that while you didn't take part in the sexual assault or the rape or anything like that, you not fully comprehending the severity or you diminishing a woman's experience is why a lot of men get thrown into the same fucking box. If you were a woman and you were assaulted, you wouldn't have your guard up when dating? The men in this fucking rape academy thing, they were their husbands. It's not just strangers off the street. It could be the man who's closest to you. And it's happened enough to the point where we need to start taking some accountability and responsibility for the men around us.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a thing, and this is where he'll get further into what that looks like. But this is what I want the good men to understand. First of all, if this all bothers you, you need to figure out why. You need to question why. What's going on there? If you're a good guy and you have not mistreated women, and then it wouldn't bother you. But yeah, this is a project for you guys that you're going to need to start really getting out there and being a lot more proactive if you're the good guys. Yeah.
So the one thing that I want to point out that Mehdi had said is it's not that this hasn't always been a problem. It has. I'm simply saying that technology has made it exponentially worse, that it has added a whole other layer to it now that didn't even exist before, that naturally is only going to make it worse. This is part of the reason why we went so ham on that Zio piece of garbage who will rest in piss for all eternity. That was the guy who created OnlyFans or owned OnlyFans. I mean, the people that get involved with that type of stuff, their opinion of women is exceptionally poor, like exceptionally poor. And that's why they think that this is acceptable discourse. So not speaking up or not recognizing this problem, like I said, I can't have any interpersonal relationships with anyone who sees women in the light that this guy's talking about. Now, there are some who just say it as, well, that's just what they say and it's not a big deal. I'm like, no.
It's a big deal. It starts there. It's disrespectful. It's disgusting. We're so done. Just like how I feel like the rest of the world is done with American empire, I feel like universally right now, there is people before this rape academy and now after this rape academy. And collectively, I feel almost as women, we're done. We're done.
I also want to say
it's so true. We have to let it finish because he really goes into like what.
But I also want to say that one of the issues here is one thing I would say to you, Ryan, as I would say to any of my fellow men is this. I say this to women all the time. You could be the biggest pains in the ass walking the earth, and I could die 100 times and I would come back as a man every single time. Because if you spent one day walking in a woman's shoes with the shit that they have to deal with on a regular basis, just having to deal with a period every month for almost 50 years is a big deal. That's a big deal. And you don't want that. And every woman is different. Some have a little pain, some have a lot of pain. Some go through emotional swings, some don't. That's the type of stuff where we're not even talking about carrying a baby to term. We're not even talking about all the different things, the hormones, things that people go through. I'm telling you, as a man, there's a lot of shit that women will give us, but trust me when I tell you, you don't want to be them. You don't want to be them. You are so much luckier being a guy, which is why we have to and should have a considerable more leeway with what they throw in our direction than normally we should. I'm just saying, like, and this is proof positive of just that. So we'll finish it out. Sorry.
We don't have a place to argue with them. You think that men are under the chopping block? Good. If you're the good man like you say you are, you should be fighting along with them. And what do? You talk about the women who were found guilty of lying about rape, ruining a man's life. Do you know how many lives men have ruined? A lot of you will come to the defense of a man that's wrongfully accused and say, see, women are bad too. Meanwhile, a woman, a young girl, whatever it is, can be assaulted. But the man who did the assaulting has connections, just got a little community service. Either that or no one believes her. And everyone carries on with their day because it is what it is, right? And you know what the worst part is? You know what I fucking hate? The fact that some men can't talk about this and be true advocates and allies without being accused of pandering or virtue signaling or being a cuck or a simp. If you think that women are going to hate you due to the stigma, then you're most likely part of the reason why that stigma was created. Funny, I was never worried about women hating me or thinking I was a threat. That sounds like a you problem, doesn't it? And I keep seeing people with these fucking mental gymnastics trying to give comparisons. All right, so I guess we could say all black people, all gay people, all fat people, and talk about stereotypes with them. Why are you trying to find gotcha moments? Are you that desperate to absolve yourself? Do you need that much reassurance that you're a good man? If you need to be convinced that you're a good man, then you're not. If you are still alone and you're blaming the world, sorry to tell you, pumpkin, it's you. And when you guys are under pressure, like this whole stupid fucking rape academy that was found out, you show your true colors, you show your fear. That fear you're feeling? Multiply that by 1,000. That's how a lot of women feel walking in a parking garage by themselves.
100%.
Do you have to worry about that? I didn't think so. Do they know if the men in the parking garage are good men? No. So all of you truly need to wake the fuck up.
Okay, so when we say it's all men, right? People need to understand, again, we understand that there are good men. We know this, but it's not a matter of all men are bad. We're saying all men have a collective responsibility. That's what we're saying. There's a collective responsibility to get yourselves in line and acknowledge this, because it's a problem. Everyone comes from a mother. So people have mothers and daughters and sisters. And seriously, like, if you're a good man, then the backroom talk, the stupid, dumbass shit where people degrade women, and you know it and you don't like it, but you don't say anything about it. You're the same as someone who sits and listens to a Zio and you don't say anything about that.
Yeah.
You are now complicit in the problem. So until it is no men, it is all men. And I'm not saying that they're all bad or guilty, but you're all responsible for this situation that we're in. And it's true. I know there's good men, but I still don't like walking through a parking garage. And yes, we all are taught how to hold our keys and how to walk and how to look under the cars and what to do. Like, we're taught that from a very little age, how to go through life to not attract unwanted attention, to potentially get assaulted. Seriously.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't love it when I see women dressed really, really provocatively, and not for that reason. I just think it's sort of like, why buy the cow if you're giving it away for free? But like, I mean, it's, as far as I'm concerned, if somebody walks down the street naked, that's their prerogative. Like, I don't care. I'm not for that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't invite anything. And I just, so yeah, I'm like, we're so done. We're so done, you know?
Yeah, there's also, again, this thing that I would tell, I constantly tell men a lot, because we've covered different angles of the America First movement on this channel, particularly a person in particular who I think, whether he would ever say it publicly or not, because he wouldn't, because again, it's a career and he's a very questionable individual to begin with. But somebody like Fuentes is somebody who comes to mind where you could see that the type of men that would be attracted to his content are these type of men that we're talking about. These type of men that do not have a very high opinion of women to begin with, and having the suggestive conversations about, well, they may have been asking for it, or they might have not dressed properly, or this or that, and that's.
Has anybody, what's interesting? It's like, there's no other crime where anybody questions what the victim was wearing or if they were asking for it. There's no other crime where that even comes up. Like, nobody thinks, well, maybe he was just kind of being an asshole, so he deserved to have his house set on fire. Right? Like, nobody even thinks like that. But yet that's a normal thing to sort of rationalize assault and basically just what's considered boys will be boys behavior, right?
Yeah, but that's something that I think is only going to get worse, because again, the violence is getting worse, and it's getting worse all the time. So as a result, I think we need to be very understanding, or I don't even know if understanding is the word. I just think that and the other thing that I think you don't take into consideration, which I think we have to, is that societal collapse from an economic standpoint leads to more of this resentment. It leads to more of this violence.
Yes.
And if you can't see that that's a huge part of the problem, then you're really missing the boat here.
So Ryan, we get it. All right. And again, it's not all men are guilty. It's all men are responsible. So either own that responsibility or just drop it. Because as I prefaced this entire conversation by saying that I have had many good men in my life. In fact, I only have good men in my life, only, because I wouldn't tolerate that. So I do understand the good man thing. I've also raised 2 of them. So I'm very familiar with the good men. All right. But it's still all of y'all's responsibility. Get that.